Hey, if you're going a little gray like me and you're feeling overwhelmed by the pace of change in technology, you're not alone. It's easy to make mistakes, especially as tech evolves so rapidly. In this video, I'll walk you through some of the most common tech blunders that people in their 40s and beyond are making and how you can avoid them. By the end, you're going to feel more confident in using technology, from gadgets to software, without too much stress. So let's jump in. One of the biggest blunders I see is avoiding new tech simply because it feels overwhelming, whether it's social media platforms or new software, or even just upgrading your phone. That fear of change can keep you stuck in the past. And the truth is that technology is here to make our lives easier, so embracing it can open up new opportunities. I remember when I first switched to a smartphone and I felt a bit resistant, but now I can't imagine life without it, and I'm sure most people can't imagine life without a smartphone these days. So just start small, test out new tech one step at a time so you don't feel that sense of overwhelm quite so badly. If we're being honest, I remember when we had one phone in the house and it was attached to the kitchen wall. Here's another common mistake: not backing up your data regularly. Whether it's photos or documents or videos on your computer or on your phone, losing important files like that can be absolutely devastating. Those things, photos and videos especially, those are memories. And a lot of people in their 40s and beyond don't realize how easy it is to back up their data to external hard drives or to cloud storage. So I've used Google Drive to back up my work and my photos, and I also have a couple of external hard drives plugged into my computer that I use to back up videos that I create and a lot of photos as well. It's super important. You can actually set up automatic backups for these things. And you're going to want to make sure to store your really important files in at least two places. Ideally, one online in cloud storage, for example, and one offline in a hard drive. Another really big blunder I see right now is using weak or repeated passwords for things. And that's really, really risky across different platforms. It's tempting to use simple passwords for convenience. I get that, and it's hard to remember all of the passwords these days. But this can lead to real security problems. If your passwords are too easy to guess, you're putting your personal and your business information at incredible risk. So I used to use the same password for multiple accounts until I realized just how unsafe that actually is. And now I use a password manager to store a bunch of unique and much more complex passwords for each of my accounts. And this makes your life so much easier, and it makes your data so much more secure. And you don't have to remember all of those passwords. It's just stored and in many cases automatically entered from those password managers. Another big one now that we're using all of this tech is ignoring software and app updates. Skipping updates is a mistake that can cause problems down the road or even immediately sometimes. And I know a lot of people of my generation and beyond tend to think that updates are just these annoying pop-ups. But they're actually essential for your device's security and performance. And ignoring them can leave you vulnerable to malware and bugs and other security issues. When I started updating my devices regularly, I noticed that they ran a whole lot smoother and they didn't crash as often. In fact, my PC hasn't crashed for years at this point. So now I see those pop-ups about updates and I don't get as frustrated. I know they take time, so what I'll typically do is schedule the updates to happen later at a more convenient time. I know the updates on my smartphone, for example, usually only take 5 minutes or less, so it's well worth doing. Most of your devices should be set to update automatically these days, but if they're not, you're going to want to make sure that you do set that up or create a reminder to manually update them if that's the way you want to do it. This one is a big mistake too. It's not learning new digital skills. This goes back to technology changing at such a rapid pace, and if you don't keep up with the new skills, you're going to find that you are left behind in the dust very, very quickly. Many people who are 40 plus feel like they've mastered what they need to know and they don't need to learn anything new. And that is the huge mistake right there. Whether it's mastering social media, learning about SEO, understanding new software, learning new skills can help you stay competitive in today's digital world. And I think it's critical. So I'm always learning something new. I've learned how to use a ton of new content creation tools, which has helped my business grow, especially AI tools right now. That has been really critical for me. So I would invite you to commit to learning something new, let's say every month. Even if it's just a small tweak to a new software program you already use, as an example, that's going to give you an advantage down the road. Another big mistake is relying on technology without understanding it. So that's why it's important to learn it. If you rely too heavily on technology without understanding how it works, you are asking for trouble. And it's so easy to rely on apps and devices for everything these days. But if you don't know the basics, you're going to have things go wrong that you cannot identify, and that's going to be a huge source of frustration for you. For example, not knowing how to troubleshoot your Wi-Fi connection or how to restore a lost file. That could leave you stuck in a frustrating situation for hours. I know I once lost a whole video project because I didn't yet understand how cloud storage worked, and I didn't know how to retrieve it. So once I took the time to learn how cloud storage actually works, and it's become much simpler over time, then I was able to actually get it back, and it wasn't that difficult to do once I figured out exactly how to do it. So take the time to learn basic tech troubleshooting and make sure you know how to fix a few small issues on your own. There just isn't tech support by telephone for everything that's changing so quickly these days. There are YouTube videos out there with solutions though, and that is always a good resource. Something else I see that's fairly common is not using the right tools for the job, whether it's software or apps or hardware. Using tools that are not suited to your needs can lead to inefficiencies, and I know a lot of people 40 plus will just tend to stick with what they know in the comfort zone, even if it's outdated or it's not optimized for what they're actually trying to accomplish. You have to be brave and make a switch. For example, I switched to more efficient video editing software a few years ago now, and it has had regular updates since, so it is up to date. And it's made a huge difference in my productivity and my efficiency in creating content. I'm using Camtasia for video editing, by the way, and it's been terrific for a long time. But I'm starting to notice that there are some competitors out there getting better at particularly building in AI capabilities to their software. So I think I'm going to do some exploring. And that leads me to my tip for you, which is to do some research on the tools that best fit your needs and try some of the alternatives if something isn't working for you, or if there might be something that's just better out there. Are you getting too comfortable with social media? This is another mistake I see. Social media is a powerful tool, but it's so easy to make the mistake of using it for just personal connection and forgetting about its business potential. If you're a content creator or entrepreneur, social media can be an invaluable marketing tool. For example, I've grown my audience by being active on social media for quite a while for business purposes, not just for personal posts, particularly on LinkedIn for me, and now YouTube as well. Now, I do use Facebook for personal connection with family and friends, but if you've got a potential business audience on Facebook, you may want to consider that as a platform that you post business content on as well, or Instagram or TikTok or wherever you think your audience hangs out. The main thing to keep in mind is treat your social media accounts as tools for engagement and don't just use them for scrolling through posts and wasting time. Okay, I'm guilty of doing that at times too. It's hard to avoid altogether because it's a little bit fun to see what other people are posting out there, and it is entertaining. You just have to set some boundaries around that stuff. All right, another one. Being overwhelmed by too many apps and platforms. It is so easy to get overwhelmed by the sheer number of apps and platforms out there, and I know a lot of people 40 plus get bogged down by trying to learn and use just too many tools, which can be counterproductive. The key is finding the right tools that meet your needs without overwhelming yourself. I've certainly simplified my workflow by sticking to a few key platforms and apps instead of jumping on every new app instantly. So I rely on my video editing software, I rely on VidIQ and sometimes TubeBuddy on YouTube, and I use Google stuff, Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets. I use that suite of tools to help keep me on track. And I have a few AI tools that I go to regularly as well, mostly ChatGPT or Gemini. You're just going to want to pick a few core tools for your daily work and focus on mastering those instead of trying to learn a whole bunch of stuff at once. Now, I mentioned setting boundaries with social media, but really you need to set boundaries with all technology. It's a huge blunder not to set boundaries with your devices and screens in general. And it's easy to get sucked into endless emails, notifications, social media scrolling as mentioned, and that can lead to burnout and a ton of stress. So for me, I'll actually set tech-free hours during my day to go focus on other aspects of life, go for a walk, play with our dog, get a cup of coffee. It's important to have those boundaries and have that time away from the tech. So you can do these things too. Try turning off your notifications, creating tech-free zones in your house, or just setting aside time for self-care. I know a lot of us who are getting a little older have some technophobia, but you have to remember technology is here to make your life easier. It's not meant to make your life more stressful. By being proactive about learning, staying organized, setting boundaries, you're going to be able to make the most of the tools at your disposal without getting too overwhelmed. If you found this video helpful, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips on how to stay tech savvy, and check out one of these helpful videos next.